I was born in a Christian home and, of course, believed in God, in Jesus. That was the teaching. You're a kid. You don't know anything. You've just been born. You could be anywhere. You would believe anything you're taught. That's how it works for us. So for me, growing up then, I had reasons in my household to ask God for help, and the help didn't come. And early on, I left the idea that there must be a God or that this God would interact with us. I wasn't getting the help that I wanted, that I asked for, that I pleaded for. I did everything I was supposed to, and it didn't work. So the things that I was being told weren't really happening. And then when you wanted to know why, you would just get excuses. I think we all know that story. But along the way, as a kid, you're having those experiences where you share thoughts with people, or deja vu, or you know something instinctively is going to happen just before it does. It seems like as children, we're very good at that. We can do that much better. As we get older, that kind of ceases. But that told me that there was something there that was kind of magical. And yeah, in churches I asked, people would say those things are evidence of God or the Holy Spirit or something like that. But boy, it just didn't seem like it was worth anything. I mean, it was fun stuff that happened, but it wasn't helping my life. It wasn't what I needed for my life. So anyway, I left that behind and thought, boy, there's something out there. I want to find out what it is. And throughout life at various times, I explored different things. And what I realized is that, yes, in Christianity, I can remember being caught up in some good feelings as a little kid. I remember being in church and praying and singing or praising or something like that and feeling this feeling that people would tell you was the power of God or something like that. But what I realized in life as I explored is that same feeling happened all over the place. It happened no matter what you believed. It didn't seem like it was the Holy Spirit. And if it was the Holy Spirit didn't care if you were a Christian, because it happened to everybody. It didn't matter. At any rate, I began to realize, boy, in all of these religions, they all have a measure of success and way of explaining those things. And you could see all of them experience that, and in some way it fit with their belief system. And so I realized there's something there, but there's one thing underlying all of it. What was it? And to me, there would be a scientific basis for it. I never believed in supernatural or magic. They were always fun stories, but I thought, boy, that can't happen. If something happens, there's a reason for it. There's an atomic structure. There's forces. If something happens, it's natural. We just don't understand it. And that's the way I approached life from early on. And I don't quite know how to say it, but it almost feels to me like I've spent my life trying to figure out the science of spiritual occurrences. And it's led me to this theory. And by no means is this a new theory. This is something that I feel like I came to understand independently. Then you realize this is all over out there. People have known this for a long time. I don't have anything new here. It's maybe just understanding it with more modern terminology, with things we understand about the world today. So first, very briefly, what everybody knows is that the universe is made up of energy. Energy and matter. Yeah, we're energy and matter. Everything is energy and matter of some sort. And it's constructed in different ways. We're a part of all of that. But that within that energy and matter, there is massive amounts of energy that is not matter. The amount of matter in the universe is incredibly small compared to the amount of energy that is there. So there's a massive amount that we don't interact with. We only interact with the things that are physical, except a little bit that are not physical. Why would that be? We've got 5 senses. We can see in a certain frequency range. We can hear in a certain frequency range. Okay, so we've gone there. Let's move right into the 6th sense and say, isn't it possible then by inference, by realizing that yes, we see precedent. The human can see energy. The human can hear energy. Maybe the human can transmit slightly energy. Just not very good. Why wouldn't we be very good at it? We evolved to survive danger. There was no danger there. We didn't need to be good at it. Some people are better at it than other people. Why would that be? This is a theoretical portion. Just look at people today, seeing masses of people, but on the outskirts, you've got introverts that want to get away from things that, they need to be kind of close by. They depend on society, but they don't want to be in the mass of things. They don't want to be in the middle of it with everybody. Those people, the people like me, the people like you, we would have been out on the edge and we would have been the first person to get eaten. We needed to sense our environment. We need to feel danger. We needed to be able to sense that because that was danger. And then we could warn the rest of the group. That's why some people that we would probably know today as NFs in the Myers-Briggs, the feelers, the sensors, the introverted people, people that have a certain kind of a brain wiring that makes them different and may very well be what gives them some kind of a connection that's farther than other people. People that can see, they can't all see the same. Some people have really good vision. Some people don't have good vision. Some people have really good hearing. Some can't hear very well. And all of those change. I would speculate this would be the same way. And if you really kind of look at it and pick it apart and hammer it, you see a couple of things. Number one, back then when we were evolving that, if that is indeed the case, we didn't have communication. So we weren't communicating then. We were just sensing, feeling, grunting perhaps, running, throwing sticks. Quick, the lion's coming, something. When you can see, you can only see what comes in and out of your vision. When you hear, you can only hear what comes in and out of your hearing range. So perhaps as we develop communications, this open channel is there, and there's just like a hint, like ghost images, a little bit of smoke of some sort of communication happening, but that when we're somehow experiencing deja vu or reading somebody's mind or sharing thoughts with somebody, that we're just operating in that field, but we're not quite aware of it. So it looks like some magical, mystical, far off thing when in all reality, it's probably just right there inside of us. But it seems like that would be a lot simpler of an explanation than ghosts and spirits and different things floating around, when in all reality, we already interact with our environment. Why wouldn't that be the case? And then living together in a community, we would be somehow sharing that at a level that isn't necessarily conscious to us. Sometimes it steps over and it becomes conscious. And that's when we think, ooh, magic, ooh, miracles, ooh, something somewhere, somehow something, when I'm pretty certain there's going to be an explanation for it that is a logical, scientific based, this is how it works, explanation for it. Okay, and if we imagine back in time again, out on the plane, trying to survive, sensing those things, and it is very dangerous. Think about this. Your life is such that you might get eaten by a lion, or you might run while your child is being eaten by a lion. That's some tough stuff. Emotionally, incredibly difficult stuff. When somebody said grunt, whatever, there probably was an emotional charge that flowed through everybody that made them all sense and feel that. You better have a gut instinct that makes you go, oh, what the hell? We better get out of here. And in that process, we establish this capacity, or see this capacity, where we, in big groups, share emotions and feelings and sensations. And it would have been a very important thing to develop while we were evolving. What other reason is there for it? And why would it be effective for everybody in the world, regardless of their belief system? It happens to everybody. It's not a religious thing. Take religion out, it still happens. Okay, another point. This one is observation, and everybody has seen this. I have spent significant time outdoors, camping, remote, solo, alone. Hundreds, thousands of hours in my lifetime. You look and you marvel at all the things you see. I've been in the snow, in the desert, the mountains. In the spring, you see all of the baby animals coming out. The birds are nesting. Life is starting again, and you think, oh my, this is What wonder? How could this come about? And people look at that and say, oh, it's obviously, that's a wonderful creation. How could anything like that come about? Accidentally. Then you watch and you hear the scream of the baby bunny as it's getting torn to shreds, as the eagle is feeding its family. The snake writhing as it's trying to escape the claws of the raptor hauling it off. You can find videos. I'm not going to reference any of these. You can go find BBC videos on monkeys and chimpanzees hunting chimpanzees, grabbing live monkeys and tearing them apart limb by limb to eat them. I saw a video of a lion guarding a young gazelle, and the baby gazelle was instinctively stationary, not running. And the lion was trying to entice more animals to come in and eat them, and they ran off. There's a case of an animal leaving their young in order to survive, in order to have another young. And you look at that and say, did God make this? Is that the wonder of things? Everything lives off of something else. And starting at the smallest level, life comes from energy. Plants convert the sun. But from then on, as you get up the chain, it gets more and more complex. And pretty soon, creatures are eating creatures. And we who have the biggest brain have to eat the most. And you look at that and think, if God was all powerful, why didn't he just make Earth a tropical paradise and fill everything up with pineapple and coconuts? Why did he make everything have to suffer and die and scream and hurt in terror in order that something else may live? Is that a creation, or is that a terrarium on autopilot? I believe you could find any human in the world to do a better job at that if they were creating. Okay, another point. And I'm referring to the God of Abraham, and more specifically, the current day's Christian, the more right-wing or conservative view of Christianity and God and Jesus. That there exists this idea that a God created everything, and in order for God to decide who's going to live forever with them, this God says, you will believe in me with little to no evidence at all. And you must worship me. Get on your knees and worship me and believe in me to show your worthiness. What the hell kind of a God is that? That's a narcissist. If I was God, I would say, I want to create people. And I want those people to help other people. And I want them to understand the plight and the pain and the hurt of their neighbors and their friends and people around the world. Stop hating them and love them and care for them. And I don't want them to believe in me. I don't want them doing that out of fear. I want them doing it because it's the right thing to do. That's who I want to be with. And that is the kind of God I would go hang out with. That first God, the one that says, worship me. All of you guys worship me, and all of you that worship me and do my angry bidding will go to heaven. I don't want to go there. Okay, fun, dramatic things to say, but in all reality, I'm safe. I'm not going to be going there, so I'm not concerned with that. Is there a God? God would have to be completely, I set things in motion and left. Why is it so big? Why is the cosmos so big and things moving so far apart that we can never even visit? Maybe God made a world in every solar system and put thousands of them in each one of the galaxies, and then billions and billions of galaxies. And he said, okay, whoever can do my bidding. And he's already returned. Earthlings didn't make it. Yeah. They didn't figure out what he was talking about. They became Christians instead. I'll say one final thing. If you studied Taoism, Buddhism, Hinduism, if you studied Judaism, if you read all of the teachers and understood them properly, if you understood Jesus, and I'm not talking about the New Testament and the Roman Paul, I'm talking about Jesus himself. At no point in time did anybody ever say anything about worship me and I got your butts. No, they said love, care, kindness. Love your enemy. Take care of everybody. It's not good enough to just love the people that are your friends and family. Your enemy does that too. Love everyone. If God's watching out and staying secret, he's watching for the people that pull that off. That's my thoughts. Is there a God? I don't see one. But he better be as good as the best humans I've seen. Everything I've heard so far about him, he doesn't measure up. I don't believe there's a God. I believe also that it can be incredibly dangerous for a humanity to think that life starts after death. I think people like that can really easily run the risk of disrespecting life. And at the same time, there's a significant amount of compassion that anybody would have towards someone that is destitute in life, isn't using religion to hurt other people, to judge other people, and believes in some sort of an afterlife. And they're hurting, and they're suffering. Would you tell them no? I wouldn't. What if you're in a hospital and you're with a child that's ready to take their last breath and they look up and ask you, am I going to see Jesus now? I'd say yeah. Love and compassion comes in many forms. But when you're using religion and your belief in God to hurt other people, you're doing it wrong. Love one another. See you in the next video.